Hi guys! So it is July, my birthday month, and I'm turning 33 this year. Yes, tada! I thought I would talk to you guys about things nobody tells you about your 30s. Now, I feel like a lot of things nobody told me I realized after I crossed over, and of course I crossed over a few years ago now, but still I thought this would be a fun, talky, chatty, real talk kind of video for you guys. So let's begin. Okay, number one, gray hair. Okay, if you're a 30-year-old with no gray hair, I hate you. But when you're suddenly 30, everything turns gray, guys. I've been coloring my hair now for the last, I think, 2 years maybe. But like the amount of grays have become insane. Like when I had TB for 3 months and I couldn't get a haircut and I didn't color my hair for like 6 months. I'm not kidding with you. I'm going to show you guys a video that Webber took of me when I was sitting on my hairdresser's chair, okay? And he said, oh my God. And I said, what happened? And he said, wait. And he filmed like my head like this and he just did this to my hair. And I can't tell that that's my head. I was just like, oh my God, no, color it. So yeah, you have to be prepared for grays. Either you embrace them or you color them or whatever. But if you have shorter hair, it's going to show more. So if you have longer hair, maybe you can like, I think not color your hair for longer. But now with my shorter hair, I see my grays a lot. And yeah, I don't know if it's the stress or just maturing or just getting old, but you're going to have grays. Number two, almost everybody you know and don't know wants you to produce babies. Okay, so once you hit that 3-0, everybody's gonna be like, having a kid? Having a baby? When are you having a baby? Are you having a baby now? And it never stops. It never stops. Like, I feel like ever since I got married at 30 to today, that is the most asked question by my viewers, by people I see. And it's just a constant, like people think 30 equals baby. Now, I don't care what you've been told, what you've heard up until this point, but you grow up at 30. Everything before that is practice, okay? You are not a grown up before you are 30. I know in our 20s we think, oh my God, I'm like an adult, and at 18 you're like, Mom, I'm an adult, don't tell me this, but you're really not, okay? When you're 30, all the responsibilities are on your shoulders, and then you start, I think, thinking about, you know, yourself as a provider, a possible parent at some point, how you're looking after your parents. You become the parent and they become the kids, and everything kind of changes, like that whole dynamic at 30, or getting your own house, all of that. Like I think when I got married at 30, getting my own house, all of that responsibility, where you have like your expenses, looking after your family, looking after yourself, you know, it suddenly hits you and you're suddenly like, okay, I am a grown up now. You're gonna have these random pops and niggles and like quirky aches around your body without explanation. After 30, it happens to all of us. So like the last few days, I've been suffering with a blocked ear, and I feel like my knee just locks and pops suddenly sometimes, or like, yeah, it's just weird. Like these are not things that are like medical issues, but you're gonna have like weird clicks and pops. And like in my 20s, I was just like, yeah, I can run a 10K right now. And right now when I run a 10K, I'm just like, oh, what was that pop? Oh, what was that niggle? Oh, Your friendships become more serious. Now, what I mean by this is, you know, you kind of settle in with your really close friends. Like I would say today, I have about maybe 8-10 people in my life that I would consider my like friends, and everybody else goes into that acquaintance bracket. Like in your 20s, I feel like you hang out with a lot of random people, you make a lot of random friends, and you're like, oh, I know this person really well, or this person is like my bestie. But like when you're 30s, it's totally different. You want to hang out with people who genuinely get you, genuinely know you, and have your back. And it's not only about going out and partying and being like, yeah, it's about actual genuine like friendships. Okay, suddenly anti-aging products and sunscreen start seeming appealing. In your 20s, you think, oh, I don't need that. Well, now you need it. It's like you're like, oh, okay, give me all the ANR in the world. I want to have a bath with it, or like put sunblock every day. Things like that, which you in your 20s totally ignore, and you think like, you know, it doesn't matter. At 30 is where you start kind of looking at your skin and taking care of your skin and focusing on those things, and you think that you're more regimented about it. Like I think at 20 I was very like, doesn't matter, like, you know, no sunscreen, yeah. Now I'm just like, cool. Okay, thankfully this next one has not applied to me, but I think it has applied to a lot of my friends. You eat less and you tend to put on more weight. Like in your 20s, it's all about your metabolism and how you can just dabao everything in sight and still be skinny. And after 30, it becomes a lot harder. Like everybody told me this, like my sister was like, wait till you're 30, wait till you're 30. Thankfully, it did not work on me, and I hope it stays that way. I can still dabao everything under the sun and not put on weight, but I know a lot of people felt this like change drastically when they turn 30. You will probably need a therapist in your life. I feel like today, with the amount of stuff that we have around us with our lives as individuals, as you know, part of a family, the exposure we have, social media, and the amount of pressures that we face are so crazy that I feel like anyone should see a therapist if they feel the need to. But I feel like at 30, definitely you're going to start needing someone in your life who you can trust as a third person to share your thoughts, question your beliefs, and just help you cope with like the stresses of your life. So in your 30s, you tend to find yourself in terms of fashion and your style. You dress more age appropriately. You actually have like this signature style that kind of comes in, and you kind of figure out your preferences, and that becomes like you come into your own in terms of style for sure in your 30s. And it's a great time if you're someone who's into fashion like me, because you kind of develop this identity, and it's fun because you experiment, but you know, you kind of find yourself in this whole world of fashion as that's me, that's not me. Okay, this one is a little sad, but it's very true. You become more practical and less of a dreamer. Like your 20s are all about dreaming and dreaming big, and we all have these amazing dreams when we're 20. And then in your 30s, you tend to be more practical about things. And I think by then you've kind of figured out your career path vaguely, or you've got like your responsibilities, whether it's your family, whether it's yourself, whether it's you know, owning a home, renting a home, whatever. You become a lot more practical than dreamy, because obviously you have those responsibilities and you have to fulfill them, and that kind of overtakes the whole dreamy side. And I would say that that's definitely a change. Like, yeah, you do still have dreams and hopes, of course, but it's not like the ones you had in your 20s. These are more realistic and more practical. Be prepared to be called auntie, didi, bhabhi. It's all downhill for me. Honestly, in your 20s, you think that, oh, you're like in with the young people and you're like it. Like with my nephews, I used to always be like, I'm the cool aunt, I'm the youngest aunt, I'm never going to be like the uncool one. And just last week, I was dropping Ray to the bus stop, and as his bus came, I was like, give me a hug, because they always give me a hug when they're leaving. And I could see all these boys staring out of the window, and he was like, no, Ma, say no. And I was just like, I am that person. So yeah, in your 30s, you become slightly uncool. Okay, money becomes important. I know a lot of people say money is not a factor in my life and it's not important and I can live within my means and all of that. But the thing is, when you're in your 30s with the kind of lifestyles we have today, everything is frightfully expensive. You feel like you've worked for a certain lifestyle and you want to have that lifestyle, and be it paying rent or buying a house or looking after your parents, or you know, buying that designer handbag if you want it, or whatever. Like, there's just so many things that matter in life, and you have to kind of be able to fulfill those things, and money does play a factor in all of that. And unfortunately, that is the sad truth, that as you get older, it becomes harder and harder to survive with less money or no money, and you do need to provide for your family, for yourself, and it definitely becomes an important factor in your life. In your 20s, like, you cannot save and you're living at home and you don't have a worry in the world. In your 30s, you're like, okay, where's my life headed? Where am I in 5 years? I have these expenses. I've got to like stay on track, and I've got to save, and yeah, you become a lot more responsible when it comes to money. Now, this one is weird, but like in our 20s, you know, we don't want to hang out with older people. Like, we think, oh my god, they're so old. But in your 30s, you kind of get along better with older people than younger people. Like today, when I hang out with a bunch of like 18, 19-year-olds, I feel incredibly old. But when I hang out with a bunch of 45, 50-year-olds, I feel totally normal. And I feel like that happens a lot because when you cross over 30, you evolve. As I said, you grow up, you become this adult, you become this person who's independent and has this identity, and it's hard to explain in words, but it kind of changes your dynamic from within. And that kind of, you know, I think that whole age factor, just like, you don't think about it anymore. It's bizarre, but like once you're 30, I feel like you can hang out with people older and older, and you gel better with them, and you have better communication skills, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter after you're 30. You change your whole dynamic in your 30s. As I said, you become more responsible, you become like, you know yourself, you become like, you know what you want in life. You become like, oh, this is me, this is not me. It's very clear. And in your 20s, you're still very like wishy-washy or unsure. Like, I know a lot of 20-year-olds who are obviously mature, and they do like know what they want in life also, of course. But in your 30s, you become a very strong version of who you want to be, I feel, for the rest of your life. Like, this is kind of like the foundation. And at least that's how I experience it. Like, I see myself and my beliefs as very strong at this point. Like, this is the kind of person I want to be. And that's why I'm very vocal about things that I don't like, or how my content should be, or things like that. Because I feel it's not just passionately about it, but I feel like it has to be me. If something is not me, then at this stage in my life, I don't want it in my life. So I feel like that becomes very important to you. Like teen years and our 20s, we constantly spend like bickering with our parents, being rebellious and saying, I know better, I'm an adult, and all of that happens with all of us, and we all go through it. When we're in our 30s, finally, when you hit that 30, you have a newfound respect for them, because you are kind of in that zone of being an adult, being responsible, adulting as we call it, working, providing for yourself, for your family, looking after your parents. And I think it's just this beautiful bond that you have as adults. Like, it's very different to what you grew up with, but like where they respect you as an adult and you respect them, and you realize that you're an extension of them at some point. So yeah, you will finally start appreciating your parents in a different way. I mean, of course we appreciate them when we're in our 20s as well, but this is like a different bond, a whole new phase of your relationship. So guys, these are all things that I've experienced in my 30s, and nobody really told me these. I just learned them, and I just hope that this helps you guys if you're crossing over or if you're in your 30s. And for all my 30-year-old subscribers or older, what did you guys learn? Leave that in the comments, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.